Well, I am having a technical problem here.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Am I on?
I can see you.
All right. Looks like everything locked up for some reason here, but
Yeah, you froze.
I can't
Well,
do anything for some reason. I'm totally locked up.
Oh, I can see them, but you're locked up.
Oh my goodness.
well, OP, we're going to go ahead and welcome everybody into the chat tonight.
Yeah, do that,
And
please.
glad everybody is here. Looks like we've got a couple of new people in.
I've got nothing on my end. Can you see me over there?
I can see you, but it's not moving.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I don't know what
Can
I'm.
she hear you?
Yeah, she can hear me. You can hear me over there, right?
Yes, sir. Your screen's frozen.
Ah, that sucks.
Kathy says your coop looks good.
I think I'm going to have to refresh this.
Okay.
So everybody stay right where you are. Just stay where you are.
You see them full screen.
You need to borrow mine. There he is.
All right. Well, I got to reload everything. I had my studio loaded up here. Dadgummit.
Dagnabbit.
All right, folks. You see, we got a guest here tonight. That's Celebrating Farm Life. That's Mikey and Bill. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me. Let me load these back up here. Dadgummit. I really want to say something worse, but I'm not going to do that. Right here's what I'm going to start with, right there. A pastor in Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, as a matter of fact, he called for violence.
From the pulpit.
Yeah, from the pulpit against people that don't, that are against Donald Trump. So right there, I wanted to make that comment that when a church goes to those lengths, when a pastor goes to those lengths, then that church needs to lose its tax, waiver. It needs to lose it. It's that simple.
Tax exempt.
Yeah, tax exemption. Excuse me. Yeah, that's right. But right there it is. He made no secret about it. He was ready to, throw down and go to war with Republicans and Donald Trump. And I just think it's ridiculous when a church gets to that point. I wanted to lead off with that right off the bat, because churches don't need to be doing that. Like I said, they need to lose their tax exemption right off the bat. So let me scroll up here and see who's with us. All right. Hopefully we got some of your subscribers over here.
Yes, sir. Hope so.
But Glenn Anderson's with us. All right. He's the first one in. Actually, Buzz was here earlier, but that don't count.
He's at the race.
Yeah, he's at the races I'm watching on TV right here. But who else? Debbie Jones is with us. Wanda Landry's in the house. All right. There we go. Texas Raider, my man right there.
Hey, Mr. Chris.
Yeah, JS Genesis Design. Shalom, brother. Thank you for joining us. Lynn Stalker's here. Jeffrey Wallace. Jeffrey, we're going to get together next week. I'm going to call you in the morning, and we're going to set up something to get together for lunch next week while you're here in Orlando. Husky Mama's with us. Tammy Joe. Yeah, there we go. And there's the Iowa crowd right there. Teresa Buchanan. She's a new one. Thank you for being with us. Hopefully we can entertain you a little bit. Might learn a thing or two. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely from OP.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go. Come on down. Who we got? There's Rural, my man right there.
Hey, Rural.
Yeah, Rural. Everybody knows Rural.
Everybody knows.
He does his Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time.
He was our first live stream.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's got a lot of good stuff over there on his channel. Every day, pretty much, he has something to share with everybody. So go over there and subscribe and check him out. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, no doubt. That man right there is on it. J1's back. Yeah, there we go. Come on down. Who else we got down here? I know we got another one or two. There's David T. All right. Come
Got
on.
another new one down there at the bottom when you get there.
Philip Dixon's with us from Tennessee, metal textile. There we go. Hill Bill's in the house as usual. My brother, a blistery 4 degrees. Well, you can have it. Absolutely have it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want no part of that right there. That's for sure.
Keep that your way.
Hatred Ordinance is with us. All right. Saying, have a happy day to you. All right. You flirting with my girl? Michelle J. There we go. That's another Tennessean right there. Yes. All right. Come on down. Nishka's back. Thank you so much, Nishka. Who else we got down here? There's the man right there. Demo man Don. Got it right that time. All right. The farmer's back. Good to see you. Very, very much appreciate you being here. Janet Neese. There's another Iowa right there, folks. Yeah. And Todd, her husband, right there. Yeah. Some good people right there. They are in the absolute heart of America. All right. SD's with us. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. From New York. Yeah, there we go. Are you guys chilly up there? Does that weather ever warm up or is it cold up there? I know you got some snow. I think it was yesterday. Who else we got down here? Yeah, we already called out Nishka, but there we go. She gets another shout out. And Craig, the radio man. That's the radio master right there. Yeah, we got to get together, brother, and do lunch for sure. That man knows everything you want to know about radios, without a doubt. But if you have any questions or comments about anything, just post them right here. If I don't see them, Lady Prepper's going to. And we'll address that. But our guest here tonight, like I said, this is about if we have a lockdown. We're going to get into that a little more because there's two things going on where they're trying to, I'm telling you, it's coming, guys. I don't know when, but I have no doubt because it's coming, like I said, from two fronts. It's coming from the political front. It's coming from the medical front, but we'll get into that in just a minute. But another thing I wanted to comment on right quick was the price of eggs. Right there. The U.S. has hit record highs in egg prices over the last week. And they only expect them to go up. But this is a direct result of over 30 million laying hens been killed in the last 4 years. That's a direct result of that. And we know, they say that bird flu is the reason why they're culling herds, but they should do the chickens like they do the people. If you think you got a virus going on in this, this nursery or this chicken farm over here, isolate it.
Right.
Don't let anything come out of there. Don't let anything go in there. You isolate it until you see if those birds actually have this bird flu and if it's going to cause a problem. You don't just go in and wipe out 100,000 chickens because 2 of them tested positive.
Right.
They got to stop that. They got to stop. What would you guys do? I mean, when you find a dead chicken in your coops, what do you do?
We separate, definitely. And if we bring any, whether it be chickens or any new livestock to the farm, we keep it separated from the rest of the animals for at least 2 weeks before we introduce it to the rest of the herd.
There you go.
Or flock, because we want to make sure we're not bringing anything into the farm.
I don't know why that popped up there, but it did. Let me get you back in there. But that's what I'm suggesting. If they think a flock has the flu, just isolate it.
Right.
Don't just go in and wipe them out because it creates, a hardship in the food chain for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like even right here yesterday, Pam went over to Publix and there was a restriction on the number of eggs you could buy from the
Mhm.
public store. And the
Mhm.
shelf, it wasn't empty, but it
About
was,
a third empty.
yeah, it was pretty scarce. It,
There's plenty of eggs, but it was about
Yeah.
a third empty.
but there are supermarket chains like Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's will only let customers buy 1 dozen eggs.
Mhm.
That's how
Mhm.
bad it's got.
They have a little tiny
Yeah.
egg section too.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're not like Publix or
Yeah, their egg section's like
Walmart.
one
They
little-
just,
Yeah.
I
they
heard,
only have
I
one.
heard on the radio this
Blame
morning.
them on that
Make
one.
the chickens wear a mask and get vaccinated.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
What
I
were
heard
those
on the
egg
radio this morning that our Sam's and all these stores are limited the number of eggs that you can get,
yeah.
and that Waffle House has a 50-cent upcharge per egg. So if you go in Waffle House and order 2 eggs,
Right,
it's the regular price plus 50 cents per egg.
right. Yeah, I talked about that last
Yeah,
week.
Cracker
And
Barrel too.
Cracker Barrel's doing the same thing. They're putting that 50-cent surcharge on every
Oh.
egg you order. So
Right.
Mhm.
I was
yeah.
looking at JS Genesis comment, and I'm gonna have to tell you, I tend to agree. We were at the mill, a week ago,
Mhm.
and somebody from the agricultural department came in with some brochures, and I need to just kind of glance over it and see what all they're saying. But I was asking him questions about this bird flu that they're saying is so bad, and I just point blank asked him, is it worse now than what it normally is?
Right.
And he was very didn't really want to answer the questions,
Yeah, skated around them.
skated around them, but he said that no, it's not necessarily worse, that they are just keeping up with the migration patterns, and they usually focus on the coastline, but they're doing more focus on the upstate area this year.
Yeah.
So he's
So-
kind of being kind of evasive.
Right.
Yeah.
Very, very.
And they said the ducks are what's spreading it. They said the ducks are going and flying like in a pond or something,
Right.
and then the chickens drink the water out of the pond that the ducks were in, and then get the flu.
Huh. All right then. Hank's with us. Thank you very much, Hank.
Philip said they got lots of eggs in Carthage,
Sam.
$5 a dozen.
Sam's Club in Florida, no eggs yesterday. Sam's Club in Sanford, Florida, no eggs yesterday. Wow.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah.
Lots of eggs in Carthage, Tennessee. Huh, there you go. $5 a dozen. Actually, around here, if you buy the commercial brands, like the Publix brand or the Walmart brand or whatever, that's what they cost, about $5 a dozen. But if you get into the pasture raised or cage free or whatever, the prices go up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, about $5 a dozen for the cheap eggs, and they're little small eggs.
Right.
Yeah.
They're little bitty eggs. But
What nobody's really understanding in it though is the fact that not only is the eggs going up and you're starting to see eggs disappear off the shelf, all the products that are made with eggs, the things that you buy in the grocery store, so that's going to start disappearing off the shelves because they don't have.
It's
Right.
just going to increase the prices all the way across the board, like it always does.
right.
And I
right.
mean, I'm not saying that, there's nothing to this or, anything like that, but, I always tend to feel like there's an agenda behind every aspect.
Hey, you know how this government is.
Mm-hmm.
Agenda 2030 straight up put in their outline or profile or whatever you want to call it that they were going to do away with red meat before 2030. So I don't know if they're trying to, attack chickens the same way, but I'm like you, something's not right. You don't just go in and wipe out millions of birds
Right.
because you get one or two positives. That just don't work.
Yeah.
But like Sports Mobile said here, never saw a chicken with a runny nose. Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. Well,
But,
they're trying to push the man-made meat.
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're trying to push those, those little bitty things that they call eggs. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
what you see behind me right here, that's our hen house out back.
Right.
So we get to go out and we get fresh eggs every day.
Fresh eggs, and you
Mhm.
can't beat those.
No,
Oh no, they're tremendous. But
That's
they definitely jumped the gun with it, and they should have just tried to contain it instead of just killing all the chickens. So that's not going to accomplish anything.
Texas
Right.
radar.
right,
You're right about that, and we also say those who control the weather
Mhm.
control the world too.
Yeah, well, hopefully it won't ever get to that. But
Mm.
this is just one aspect that I'm going to hit on tonight. Is the way they're controlling this thing with the bird flu, and they're going to start pushing that seriously.
Mhm.
I think in the very near future for a shutdown. Let me get that graphic back up here. There we go. That's from the CDC today. They're saying they're keeping an eye on bird flu, and it's spread. It's causing an outbreak worldwide in poultry
Yes,
and
sir.
U.S. dairy cows. Imagine that.
Mhm.
The only animals that this virus seems to attack is chickens, cows, and humans. Wonder why that is.
Interesting.
That's
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous. But I mean, you never see them. You never see them killing off pigeons. You never see them killing off robins or hawks or anything else.
Right.
They're just killing off the food chain is what they're doing.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So, and I know the WHO, along with the WHO, that's a joke right there. The
Mhm.
World Health Organization. They should just call it the CHO. China controls the, it should be the China Health Organization. They control them.
Mhm.
Them, along with the CDC, they're going to start pushing this bird flu thing hard, especially with what's going on in Washington, D.C. They can't let Donald Trump be successful.
Mhm.
It's that simple, especially now that he's actually started going in there and exposing the corruption and the
Taking
wasted
names.
spending. And, the there's so many of those departments that money has gone to, millions of dollars,
Mhm.
that the names are just, it's like they're made up. It's like they're fake.
Right.
So we know they're nothing more than just kickbacks. But Project Veritas exposed this and the Biden administration 2 months before Donald Trump took office. A lot of people don't know it. But this guy right here, Brent Efron, he worked for the EPA. He was in Biden's EPA department. And 2 months before Donald Trump took office, Biden sent $20 billion over to the EPA to distribute to green energy companies and, stuff like that. I would like to show a part of that video here, but if I do, I know what's going to happen.
Mm.
They're going to demonetize this.
Do your own research.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to research it. It's linked below, down in the description.
There you go.
Click on that link down there. You can watch that video. This is the guy that was in charge of distributing that $20 billion. And he got drunk, got loose lip, and Project Veritas exposed him. But this came out when Biden was still in office. So guess what happened to it? Nothing. It was
Mhm.
squashed. Now it's coming out, and you can see that, Biden sent that $20 billion over there for him just to scatter around before Donald Trump they did it on purpose, but so they could do it before Donald Trump took office. And that video exposes all of that. So, I mean, straight up, the Democrats are fighting, doing everything they can to try to ruin this presidency.
Mhm.
And we've seen a number of cases. That's where this little thing that popped up here a while ago. A lot of judges have already told them to halt these programs where they're cutting this money. And Pam Bondi has sworn she's going to fight back against them. A couple of those cases have already been turned over and back into Trump's favor because Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution, it lines out the president's duties. Bam, 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 bam. And one of those duties is to oversee the operations of the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there in the Constitution. That means he's the man.
Mm-hmm.
He can go in and do what he wants to do
Right.
with that federal money. But now the Democrats are arguing that, okay, this money's already been, put in place for these organizations or that organization. So, legally it has to go there. That's a pretty good argument. Got to give them that.
OP, we were talking with another channel that we watch too, and just the outright disrespect for the office of the presidency now. And when we were growing up, you respected that office.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
like
man.
our country has lost total respect for anybody in authority.
Absolutely. It's because the government itself, that I hate to point out, just say the Democrats, because some Republicans have done it as well.
Mhm.
They don't give a damn about the Constitution anymore.
Mm-mm.
When they raise that hand and they swear they're going to defend the Constitution, they should be held to that standard.
Right.
Just like these judges. The judicial branch has no authority and the money allotted by the United States government. And this is where I say, being somebody that studied constitutional law, when a judge just blatantly rules against what's constitutional, they need to be suspended right away.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hear any more cases. They're off the bench.
Right.
And they go to before a hearing before the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Courts get to decide if they're still judges or if they get to keep their law license.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Right.
The Supreme
Things have
Court
just
works
gotten
8
so
months
backwards.
a year. They work 8 months a year.
Mm-hmm.
They can add a couple of days there, additional days, maybe a week or two, to hear all of these cases against these judges that make blatant unconstitutional rulings and decide if they get to stay on the bench or not. It's that simple.
Right. Right. As long as they continue to allow this to go on, it's just going to keep going on and get worse.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
all it would take is to prove one as an example. That's
Exactly.
it.
I said 3. It'll take 3.
Yeah.
You suspend 3 of those judges, you schedule those hearings, and then when it comes down that, nope, you're no longer a judge, all this will stop.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And everybody talking about nobody voted for Elon. Well, nobody voted for these judges either. They're federal
Exactly.
appointed.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't vote for those. I didn't vote for the federal judge in this area.
Right.
They were appointed.
Mm-hmm.
But things are going to get worse, guys. Let me get into this right quick. Want to load a video here. Want you to watch this. This was today. What a Democratic congressman said. Watch this.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think that he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress.
Okay. That's a congressman from California. What's his name? Garcia. He just called for armed protesters to go after Elon Musk, Donald Trump, and everybody in the administration. Now, do you think these people want a civil war? You think maybe everything would shut down if we got to the point where the government said, okay, we got to shut down. We're actually in a war with these people. Hell yeah, it's going to shut down. It's absolutely going to shut down. My man X dropped in. Appreciate it, buddy. Shoot me an email with your phone number. I tried to email you and kicked back to me because it said your mailbox was full. So either text me or shoot me an email with your phone number. I've lost it. It's not in my phone anymore. But that right there shows you that, the Democrats, they're serious about this.
Mm-hmm.
They're serious about shutting this government down and actually going to civil war right there. You see it right there. It's right in front of you. You've got a congressman calling for an armed insurrection. You got Democrats holding a protest saying they're going to shut the government down. Now, does that sound a little bit like what they accused Republicans of on January 6th? Just a little
And
bit.
these are people that are governing our country.
Yeah.
That talk like this.
Yeah.
And are so disrespectful to each other. How does anything at all get done in Washington?
Well, right now it's just whoever has the majority. That's it.
That's why they're so mad, because we got everything.
Right.
Right.
Right now, the Republicans, I was going to say conservatives, but they're not all conservatives. The Republicans have control of all three chambers. And the only thing that the liberals have is the judicial.
Mm-hmm.
With those liberal judges they put in place to make these rulings to try to stop Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But like I said, a couple of those cases have already been overturned.
Right.
Because they're absolutely unconstitutional. It's just as clear on paper, as like reading a sports page.
Mm-hmm.
Judicial cannot run this country. It's that simple. They have no jurisdiction when it comes to where money goes and when it's spent. None. And they're finding that out the hard way. But we're dealing with people like these crazy ass people who want to shut down the entire government because they're not getting their way. And, one guy saying, yeah, real weapons, bring real weapons to these protests. Now that guy, he don't need to be censured in the House of Representatives. He needs to be impeached.
Mm-hmm.
Because he just absolutely called for an armed insurrection against the president of the United States.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
See what
yeah,
Rose said
exactly.
about Maxine Waters literally said, we don't know what they have on us. That's what we've all been saying, and she said it out loud.
Who said that?
Maxine Waters.
Oh, well, I mean, they don't know who they're messing with, actually.
I know, right?
Here's a new one
No, they
right
don't.
here. Grits and Grace, all right. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it very much. Hopefully you'll come back and join us. But Homespun Lady made it. Thank you very much. Hadn't seen you in a while. But these people are asking for something that they don't want.
No, they don't.
Believe me.
I was going to say, just sitting back as a taxpayer, Democrat or Republican, I would be, well, not that I would be. I'm livid that this is what my tax money is paying for. I don't care at this point, Democrat or Republican, you were voted in office and you're there to do a job, and our tax money is paying you to do a job to govern our country, not to get up there and call your fellow congressman or senator names and start this fighting and feuding amongst each other in our government. If our government can't even get together and work together and get along, then how do they expect anybody else in the country? I mean,
we're divided. We're divided so far, we're never going to get it back together.
But they should be the example. That's what.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. Here's a problem right here. They think they are leaders.
Mm-hmm. That's
no,
not
they're
a leader.
not leaders. They're representatives.
Right.
People need to stop calling them our political leaders. No, they're not. They are our political representatives.
Well, for me as an American citizen, it's quite embarrassing that is what is representing our country.
Exactly.
No wonder we're a laughing stock.
Right. Well, that's about to come full circle. Believe me. The whole world is seeing what's the change here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing just pissing off the liberals is that, where we are right now with our president that we have right now, it's no more, sitting back mumbling and eating ice cream. He's stepping forward and doing what's got to be done. That's like he told, the terrorists over in Gaza. You got until Saturday at noon to turn them loose, or there's going to be hell to pay. Well, they announced this morning, yeah, we're going to let them all go. They're not dealing with Joe Biden anymore,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what's pissing off the liberals. I would say the Democrats, but there's some good Democrats.
Right.
There's still
And
a few
there's
good
bad on both sides. There's good and bad on both sides.
But the far leftist liberals that's running the Democrat Party right now, they're like spoiled children. They can't stand what's happening. They hate to see it, but they're going to have to deal with it, and they don't know how because they've never been told no.
No, you're right.
They're just like
Yes.
spoiled children. It's that simple.
You're right.
But like I said, I think we got with the health front, with Cho or WHO, whatever you want to call them, and the CDC trying to push this bird flu thing. Plus, we got the Democrats trying to push a civil war. Absolutely. I mean, that guy today, he didn't come up with that on his own. He's not a party leader. He had to fly that by somebody before he said it. Obama light. Jeffries. But we definitely got a lockdown coming. I don't know when. I'm going to say within a year. But you got any tips for people that say they got 3 or 4 months worth of food saved up? And they think, okay, this might go longer than my food supply. What can they plant in a small space? Or what kind of harvesting can they do in a small space?
Right.
Help extend that food supply. You got any tips for anybody?
Yes, sir. So if you live in, let's say, an apartment, you can utilize your balcony space for small container gardening. You can grow herbs, tomato plants, bell peppers, fruits, vegetables. Urban areas, if you have a small yard, utilize your flower beds, pull up, your shrubs and replace them with fruit-bearing shrubs. Grow strawberries and your fruits and vegetables in your flower garden areas.
Or like what I have right here in your backyard.
Right, exactly. And that's what we were going to say too. I mean, OP, you got a chicken coop. A lot of people tend to think that if I'm in the city, I can't have chickens because you're worried about the rooster crowing all hours of the day and night. You don't have to have the rooster. Get the hens.
Exactly.
Well,
They're going to cluck a little bit when they lay an egg.
Right.
And you can utilize that chicken for meat and your eggs. You can also utilize the manure for fertilizer.
There you go. Right.
If you can't raise chickens, you can always raise rabbits. Rabbits are quiet. They don't make noise.
Yep.
You can utilize chickens, rabbits. If you have dogs or cats, you can make your own pet food out of it. Learn how to can, preserve, put up. If you're in a small apartment or small home,
right,
weed out things that you are not using anymore and find a closet to utilize for extra pantry space.
There you go. Now, the thing with chickens and rabbits now, like our chickens right here, she names every one of them.
Well, because they give us
So-
food, we're not going to eat them.
So I won't, harvest them for
Not
food.
yet, anyway.
Yeah, not yet. Yeah, exactly. Not
As
yet.
long as they're
anyway.
giving you eggs, you don't want to eat them.
But if you do want to start that, make sure there's a lot of areas, suburban areas in the United States where you can have chickens.
We're in the city limits.
It's like here, we're in the Orlando city limits, but we can have 4 chickens.
Yeah, you
So,
just check your zone area.
Right.
Your
Check
zoning
out the
and
laws
make
in your
sure.
local area. I don't think there's any restrictions on rabbits because, like you said, they're so quiet. But with the chickens, don't get any roosters. Like you said, don't get any roosters.
Right. Yeah, you don't need the
Because-
rooster to have an egg.
Right. Right. That's right. Roosters don't produce eggs, and they produce a lot of damn noise.
Plus in the city, they'll come and take them away anyway.
But with rabbits, they're quiet.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make noise. But the important thing is don't name these. They are not pets.
Right.
Rebecca said you could
That's
name the breeder ones.
You have to see them for what they are.
Yeah.
They are a food source. Farming, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
pretty
good
sure
people.
some of these people are from your channel, so I appreciate them coming over.
Oh, yes.
But just make sure when you buy an animal, you realize that that animal is for one thing,
Mm-hmm.
to produce food.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do it, like you said, in a small space, or like we're doing here with our hen house. I could easily put up some rabbit cages,
Right.
and have some rabbits. And the way they breed, you got plenty of meat. Plenty
Oh
of meat.
yeah. Oh yeah. You don't have any problem as long as you get a buck and a doe.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
won't have any problems with them producing.
No.
You probably have to separate them
Mhm.
from
And then,
producing so much.
your garden, like here, we don't have a huge garden,
Mhm.
but we have, I built a raised garden for Lady Prepper because, we're up in
Right.
years. It's kind of hard to get down on the ground and work.
Right.
But just a raised garden, put you about 12 inches of soil in there. You can grow pretty much anything you want to grow.
Yeah, and like Bill was saying too, it's amazing, honestly, how much you can actually plant in a raised bed. If you have just a small backyard area and you run a raised bed around your fence line, all the way around your backyard, you'd be surprised at how much you can grow. And
Yep.
just utilizing spaces in your flower beds, you know, you can plant strawberries. They're, a ground cover.
Right.
And you just put little things like that in between your bushes and your flower beds. You can buy fruit trees,
Exactly.
plant some fruit trees.
Yeah. You
Right.
could even plant corn. Corn's a good crop. I mean, you get.
Well, I
3
mean,
to 4
down
acres.
here in soil like this, corn's not going to grow.
Right. A lot of people can't. Yeah.
Right. You got to look at your area. You got to do a little research and see what the soil in your area will
Mhm.
support. But if
Right.
you can get corn going, you're right. That's an awesome crop.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's an awesome crop to grow.
Mhm.
But I mean, what you got?
A great resource is whatever state you're in, a college near you that has an agricultural center in it, or
There
a
you go.
section like our UCF, not UCF, Florida does.
Right. University of
And
Florida.
they have tons of information on
Right.
what you can grow in your state and
Yeah.
when to plant it and
Mhm.
everything.
Yeah. In case you didn't hear that, guys, I'm going to repeat it. In your local area, research the agricultural department and the universities around you, because they are a tremendous resource
Mhm.
for what grows in your area, when you can grow it, how to attend those crops. All universities have that. But like I said, here in Florida, our soil is so poor, and the majority of
Right.
it's sand. Unless you get up into North Florida, what I call South Georgia, the soil here is just terrible. So you have to either buy topsoil and move a lot in, like we did
Mhm.
in our raised beds,
Mhm.
or you have to grow crops that's good in your area with that
Right.
soil. And those
Right.
universities have done studies on that, and they know what you need to plant. So
Mhm.
that's something you need to do, guys, seriously. Because
Yeah.
like I said, if we go into like a lockdown, I've never in my life ever thought so much about maybe, we're this close to a civil war until today. When that Democrat said, yeah, I'm talking real arms, bring real arms to these protests, show them we mean business. He's calling for civil war.
Mhm.
That
And
was
like-
so stupid.
And like I said, he
I
didn't
agree.
do that on his own. He's not the big dog in the party. Somebody had to approve him to say that.
We know what the talk is going on.
Right. Right.
And the
So
sad
keep your
part-
eyes on what's going on, guys, because it could get bad real quick.
Mhm.
Because the people that have been running these scams for all these years and getting tens of millions of dollars, it's being pulled right out from under them. And they're going to try to motivate the people that I'm going to call them followers, because liberals don't seem to be able to think on their own. They have to have somebody to tell them how to think.
Mhm.
And then, they're trying to motivate them to get violent. It's not going to be fun. You be ready. There are other things you need to do, but I'm not going to get into that tonight. I'm going to do that next week, to take care of what you have once you get established. But like I said, you got that 3 or 4 months worth of food, start you a garden.
Right.
Use these tips, that she gave you. If it's just buckets with potato plants or tomato plants or whatever.
Mhm.
Strawberries, they grow great. Strawberries grow great pretty much anywhere. Even
Yes,
down
sir.
here in Florida in this terrible terrible soil.
Keep the
Bill
bugs
was
out of
even
them.
Bill was even saying earlier today too, even in these urban areas, if you can form a community in your city or urban area
There you go.
and do a community garden.
We have community gardens in Orlando.
And we have those locally. We have community gardens here.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, not everybody can grow everything, and it's always good to have that community. And
Exactly.
your neighbor might be able to grow one thing, and you grow another thing, and you can trade and barter back and forth.
exactly.
It's always good to have that community.
Yep. Well, I'm going to do a series. It's coming up about being bugging in or locked down or whatever you want to call it. And that's going to be part of that. The barter, how to barter, what you need to barter, what you need to be ready to protect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted this right here with you guys. Appreciate you being here so much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I wanted this to be, the first step of get out there and learn how to grow stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Learn how to farm small.
Right.
You guys, you got a great area up there where you're farming. You got a lot going on, but the majority of the people watching this, they're small.
Right.
Like us.
And you
We're in
don't
the
have to
suburbs.
have, right. You don't have to have, I think that's where so many people have the misunderstanding of homesteading. You don't have to have all this land and everything to do this. You can grow your own food in containers. There's all sorts of ways you can do this. And like we said too, start utilizing your flower beds. That's a good area because you're obviously already putting your topsoil in, your fertilizer and everything for your flowers. So
Exactly.
plant you some stuff in there too. And I tell everybody all the time, OP, growing up, we didn't grow food. So this whole process has been completely new to me.
Right.
And I stress all the time that if I can do this, if I can learn to can, if I can learn to plant, if I can, learn to put up and dehydrate and anybody can do this.
Right.
It's not rocket science.
Right. Don't think you can't do it. All you got to do is
Right.
learn now.
Right.
I've always had the idea that if you can't, don't grow it.
Right.
But it's like some people will plant like azalea bushes in their yard when you could just as easily plant a blueberry bush
Mhm.
or something like that. And it looks
Right.
just as good as an azalea bush, but gives you something to
Right.
eat.
It's useful.
Exactly. All right, guys, I've ran way over that 30 minutes I usually asked you for. But I want to thank my guests, Mikey and Bill, from Celebrating Home Life. Go over there and check them out, guys.
Good to see
check out
everybody.
Yeah, Celebrating Farm Life. Check out their channel. They've got a lot of good stuff over there. But hopefully this will just get you going, get you thinking, at least get you thinking.
Right.
If we're going to be shut in for a long time because of health reasons, like we were before, or, for, like I'm saying, the libs are trying to stir it up, guys. They're trying to stir up a civil war. They really are. And if that does happen, they're going to declare a national emergency. They're not going to say martial law. No, they're not going to use that phrase. That has a negative connotations. But they're going to say a national emergency and you can't leave home. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for what might be coming. So hopefully this will help you out. Just like I said, just get you thinking, doing some research, checking out some channels on YouTube like theirs. They got a lot of great stuff over there.
Thank you.
But with that, you know what I'm going to say? Stay strong. Keep prepping. Appreciate my guests being here. Thank you so much, Mikey and Bill, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pray for the United
be
States of
safe.
America.
God bless.
God bless.
All right, Orlando Prepper is out.